The project I've been working on the last few years, a theoretical project where I'm trying to model the idea that people form causal misperceptions, and that's the basis for their beliefs. We have this motto in economics where we make fun of people for mistaking correlation for causation, and there's this motto that correlation doesn't imply causation. And the fact that we need this motto suggests that people do confuse correlation with causation, that they impose wrong causal interpretations on observed correlations. And this is the thing that I'm trying to model. Luckily, there is this literature in statistics and AI called Bayesian networks, and I can use tools and concepts from that literature to actually formalize this idea. So this project that I described, it's part of a bigger agenda that many other people contribute to, of trying to come up with equilibrium models where people don't understand the empirical regularities of the equilibrium distribution, of the steady state distribution. So it's just like standard equilibrium modeling in economics, except that we relax the assumption that people perfectly understand their environment, and instead they have this kind of rough, partial, distorted understanding of the correlation structure. So one paper that was really important for me, and I think for the literature at large, is a paper by Martin Osborne and Ariel Rubinstein from the late 1990s, where they basically took the standard game model of games with complete information, and they simply assumed that players evaluate actions against samples taken from the empirical distribution of the steady state of the equilibrium. So instead of having a correct understanding of the empirical regularities, they have a rough understanding where the roughness comes from the sampling. But otherwise, everything is the same. There's an equilibrium. Everybody is best replying to their subjective beliefs. It's a very elegant model, and to me, it was a precursor in this literature and a big influence. I prefer to think about that not in terms of substantive questions or open problems, but more in terms of a style of doing research. And again, as a theorist, and the kind of project that I described before has this kind of pure abstract theory style to it, which is a bit unusual in behavioral economics, and also in terms of the perception of economists in general and even the general public about the relation between behavioral economics and theory. There is this sentiment that the more behavioral you are, the less theoretical you are, that there is this sort of antagonism or oxymoronic relation between doing pure abstract theory and doing behavioral economics. And what I would like to see is more work that tries to do both. On one hand, having a commitment to being interested in psychology, in the psychology of decision making, but at the same time being committed to this tradition of doing abstract pure theory. There are some slices, of course, in economic theory that show that kind of double commitment, but there's, to my taste, too few of those things, and I'd like to see more of that. Hi, I'm Ran Spiegler, and I'm a professor of economics.